Do you think it was easier or harder to write about such a sensitive topic that is close to heart?
It was easier to write because it's not something I have to make up. I think people have the idea that fiction is easier to write because you can make up whatever you want, but it's not, for me it's not. It's easier to look at things that have happened and then develop that into a fictional story. But I think it comes naturally to me to tell this story because it's something that affects so many people. It's something that needs to be talked about. And when you feel so passionate about changing the stigma with something, it's easy to tell that story. And literally this story came to me overnight, maybe 6 hours. I was thinking about it. I was just hearing, this guy Will tell me about what was happening with him, and so much of it was rooted in reality that it just made sense that this was a story that could be told easily, low budget, and needed to be told. And then the more that I thought about it, the more I realized this is bigger than me. This is bigger than this guy Will. This is something that a lot of people need. And so it just poured out of me. As far as it being easy, it was difficult at times to write about the things that were close to home for me, or that I connect with, or that came out of my own experience. The story that he tells and that he opens the movie with is something that happened to me, and it was one of those things where I didn't even really evaluate what happened to me when it happened. It was more of something that now, as I was reflecting on it, to tell Will's story, it kind of clicked for me, and it kind of helped me sort out some things in my own life, if that makes sense. So thanks, Will, because I needed to figure some of those things out. But it was hard to write some of that stuff because it's one thing to put it on paper, but you know that you're making a movie that people are going to see, and then they're going to want to know, did this happen? Did this happen to you? And then that's when it gets real. A lot of the reason that I always held back from telling a story was that I didn't know what my voice was supposed to be saying. I didn't know what I needed to use that voice for. I wasn't clear on it. The way I grew up is if I didn't know what I was trying to say, I wasn't going to say anything. I was a pretty quiet kid, very reflective. But if I did say something, everyone knew it was probably going to be important. So I kind of feel like that's how I am with filmmaking and storytelling. It took me so long to get here to say something because I just didn't know what was worth saying. And I think I finally found the path that I'm supposed to be on to be able to use the voice. So it's still a battle. Like, I'm editing this thing knowing I'm still gonna have to be vulnerable. I'm still gonna have to talk about these things. But why am I gonna make a movie and ask all of you to talk about your issues and what hits home for you if I'm not gonna do the same thing? So this is me being vulnerable.